Okay guys, so welcome back. This is a relatively new series to the YouTube channel. It's a how-to guide, and it's very self-explanatory to start with. It's a how-to guide into how to build muscle straight from the mouth of IFBB Pro Harry Harris, an A-list sponsored athlete. So no better mouth to hear it from.
Okay guys, so building muscle is actually extremely easy. You don't need to overcomplicate it at all. It's a very simple process. The only hard part is the consistency and the fact that it's monotonous. So first of all, number one, I would say nutrition. So you want to be eating anywhere from 5 to 7 small meals a day, keep the blood sugars low, and very high protein. I'll go for maybe 1.5 grams of protein per pound of body fat, or per pound of body weight, sorry, not body fat. And maybe 0.5 grams of fat and 2 grams of carbs. Now those numbers may vary a little bit depending on your metabolism and your body type, but that's a rough guideline. So stick to very simple foods, natural, organic ideally if you can, and foods that digest well. So you're going to have to do a little bit of trial and error with that. Use foods, see how they digest, maybe take notes, see how you feel after them. If you're bloated, if you're a little bit lethargic, obviously cut them out and swap the sources around. Number 2 would be training. So always train extremely hard. You can use a basic training split, whether it's push-pull legs or a bro split, or just make up the one your own, you know, an upper-lower split. You can do anything you want. Make sure you enjoy it and just make sure that each time you go in the gym, you're progressing to some degree. It doesn't have to be weight, it doesn't have to be reps. It can be intensity, it can be muscle-mind connection, anything very basic like that. And the last one would be rest. So this is probably the most underrated one, I'd say, out of all of them. A lot of people don't take this one serious enough. Is, well, rest and recovery, should we say. So after each workout, making sure that you're rested, depending on what your schedule looks like, depending on what your work schedule looks like, making sure you get at least 8 hours of sleep a night. That's a very important one, that especially in nowadays society, that a lot of people miss out on because they're spending a lot too much time on electronics, phones, devices, etc. And the recovery part, make sure you get some good therapy as well. It's something that at the very start of my bodybuilding journey I didn't really take too seriously. It wasn't only until I started getting into competing I realised how important keeping the muscle fresh and injury free is very important, because obviously if you're injured you can't train. So, and that's pretty much it. That's the top 3. I know it sounds very basic and simple, but that's how simple and basic muscle building is.
Yeah, and that is, like Harry said, that is really it. Just keep progressing, guys. I think that's something people do sort of relax on, don't hold themselves accountable to. It's
100%,
fair to say.
yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And that's both in the nutrition side of things and the training side of things. You can't really progress your sleep, but
you can
keep it consistent.
Sleep extra hours, so.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, you can sleep extra hours, but keep it really consistent. And just keep progressing with it. Obviously, this is something that I have been telling you guys about for a while. But Harry is obviously living proof that it's that simple, it's that easy. But like he said, it's the monotonous consistency of it that is the difficult part.
Building muscle is not the life of a rock star. Unfortunately, it entails a lot of consistent workouts, and that's great if you enjoy them. But the nutrition is probably one of the hardest parts, because you're only in the gym for maybe an hour or 2 a day max. It's the other 22 hours, 23 hours that you're out. That's when you've got to rest and make sure you're consistent with your nutrition, eating every 2 to 3 hours. That's the very monotonous part, and where a lot of people slip up. But if you can nail the nutrition, that's half the battle done straight away.
So I have a couple questions. So going back to the nutrition side of things, I think I know the answer to these, but I think the viewers at home might be a little bit curious about it. So you mentioned keeping your blood sugars low, and also I believe there was a stage, can't quite remember the other part of it, but the blood sugars, let's go on to the blood sugars. Why is it important to keep your blood sugars?
Well, you don't want to get a spike, you don't want to get a spike. Obviously you get a big spike, you can lead to body fat gain, it can lead to a lot of other problems. You can peaks and valleys of energy as well. You can feel lethargic, then you can feel great. So it's always good to keep your blood sugars like a minimal impact, so very low. So you're having stuff like vegetables, complex carbs is very good at that. And obviously a big meal will spike a lot more than smaller consistent meals. So that's one of the main things as well. So it's just keeping the metabolism primed.
Okay, cool. That's pretty good answer to that question. And then I think the inevitable thing that I'm going to ask you, something that I came to you about years ago. How have you built your legs?
Okay, so
They're a joke.
So that's partly genetic. I've got a few things I think that contributed to big legs. I think I was always had great legs, even as a baby. My auntie and uncle used to take the mick out of me when I was in a nappy. Because they said I had a tiny little waist, but like insanely big legs. Which at the time I got the mick taken out before, but turns out to be quite a blessing for bodybuilding.
Yeah.
It's like one of the best things you can have
It
is
works well.
small waist and big legs. Yeah, that, and although there's no scientific proof of this, I actually put it down to skateboarding. So I skateboarded from the age of probably about 11 all the way to about 17 before I started bodybuilding. And I think that extra, because I skateboarded everywhere I went,
Really?
so I think that extra stress that my body had to adapt to while I was going through puberty
Makes sense.
made them even more hyper responsive to training. So by the time when I first started in the gym, although I wanted to train legs for the first 2 years, I had to train upper body to get to match my legs before I even trained them, because I had such a big sweep on my legs and they're very well developed. So apart from that, legs is probably the hardest muscle to train. So that one you really can't hold back and you have to go balls out. I think you have to go heavyweight. I believe in heavyweight, but volume as well. I think the legs require a bit more volume than other body parts as well. So that's it. So in my case, it was hard training, but already had a great foundation to start with. I obviously do have great leg genetics. Like I said, I had to train for the first 2 years just for my upper body to catch up. In fact, even when I was a junior, my legs were just way out of proportion.
Ridiculous.
So.
I'll see if Joe can get a picture of those, because I think there's this crazy one where you're like at your first show and you just drop the trunks and it was just crazy.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So that was and then in fact, even from 2000, I took the whole of 2014 off training legs, a whole year. It was 18 months. I took 18 months off training legs from 2014 to my show 2015.
I wish I could do
that. And mentally it was really tough actually. I enjoy training legs, so it was quite a hard thing to do. But then by the time I got back on stage in 2015, I trained them 6 weeks out and they were still overpowering the rest of my physique. So obviously not a small percentage of people will be able to do that, because it just happens to be my genetic strong point. Now you might have a genetic strong point too, maybe your back, your arms, but the whole point of in bodybuilding, you want to build a very symmetrical physique. And that's why I had to hold off leg training. I think the problem is with a lot of people with stronger body parts, they train them more. Exactly, because it's their favourite body part. So it's great. The problem is
makes them look real big in the gym.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But the problem with that is that you're then disproportionate. And in bodybuilding, you're judged on symmetry and proportion. So it's always very important to have a nice symmetrical physique. I actually got marked down as a junior for having legs that were too big for my upper body. It actually hurt my placing. So that's a great tip there, just to make sure train your muscles, give your weak body parts more attention than your strong body parts.
Yeah, very good point. And you know what's funny about the skateboarding actually, because through my natural bodybuilding shows, I think the first or second one I did, there was a kid that turned up. It was a national show. It was the finals for a BNBF show, I believe. I can't remember his name. He was a foreign guy. And like, he had the most ridiculous legs I've ever seen for a natty. It was just a joke. They were split, they were huge, they were dry, everything. His upper body was decent, but his legs were just a joke. And we were all like, as competitors, bearing in mind we're going against this guy, we were like, what have you done to get your legs like that? Bear in mind we're like, I think I was 17 at this point. Yeah. And he had legs that I would be grateful for now at 24, you know. And he just came back and said, I ride my bike.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, so
I was like,
it's crazy. So some people's body parts are just hyper responsive. They've either got good genetics to start with, or they just respond crazy to a certain stimulation.
It is like weird as well. So you get I've forgotten what the sport's called, but essentially the sprint bikers.
They go around the circuit.
They're quads.
Yeah, insane. I think that's a German guy.
Yeah, him. That's what I'm thinking of. Just unbelievable. Again, I'll see if I can get Joe to put a pic up. But like, just that. Why does that happen? Like,
it's just genetics. There is no other way around it. That's just, he's got great genetics. The only other thing that can happen from having body parts that are kind of disproportionately developed. I know this from a therapy point of view, from movement patterns and stuff. If you have one underactive or weak muscle, you've got to remember, and other muscles have to overcompensate.
Yeah.
So one muscle will get a lot more stimulation.
Okay.
I've listened to a few podcasts on this from therapists talking about it as well. So if you have a weak body part, then obviously if that body part's not doing its job, or that muscle's not doing its job, all the stress has to be transferred to another muscle.
The strong one.
Exactly, yeah. So that muscle will then get overworked and overdeveloped. So that's another reason.
He would kind of be
He'd probably be
screwed if
both.
he was doing a deadlift then.
Probably,
Like,
yeah.
his
You
back
don't know, yeah.
His back wouldn't grow.
His back and maybe his hamstrings as well. I haven't seen what's hamstrings, but maybe he's
Crazy.
just whatever he's doing. Obviously, his legs are hyper responsive to look like that.
He can squat a ton.
Yeah, exactly. So
Like,
he's strong as well.
Yeah,
so,
ridiculous.
So he's got 1 in 1,000 genetics, probably more than that, 1 in 10,000 genetics for legs like that. Because if you look at his competitors that actually beat him, they don't have any legs like that. Exactly.
Don't.
So
Yeah.
his is obviously just a genetic thing, but there are also maybe some muscle imbalances there that are causing that to get extra stimulation as well.
Okay, cool. No, that sounds really good. So that's a very good, succinct breakdown on how to build muscle, guys. Train, eat, sleep.
Yeah, I mean,
Consistent.
exactly. Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, we tried to expand on a little bit, but
Yeah.
it's very, very simple. It's train hard, eat and sleep consistently. That is exactly how you build muscle. Okay, and it's not a complicated process. You can break it down, obviously, and go into a bit more in depth about it. But honestly, a well-trained monkey could do it. Literally, if you could train a monkey to eat consistently and train hard, and just did that, repeated that for years and years and years on end, you'd be a great bodybuilder.
Look at a silverback gorilla.
Yeah, except for they're vegan.
Yeah, yeah, they are actually.
Yeah. And we're not like vegans, by the way. Yeah, we don't. If you could probably build some muscle on a vegan diet, but you definitely
Small amount.
A very small amount. Yeah, I can't imagine. It may work for other sports like strongman, fighting sports and stuff, but sports where you have to accumulate a lot of muscle and minimal body fat, unfortunately, you do have to eat animal products like meat.
Yeah, and that's it, guys. Oh, one last thing I will ask actually. So in terms of building muscle with supplements, what are your go-tos?
So yeah, I love so my favourite supplements is I can eat a huge amount of protein in a day. That doesn't bother me at all. I've always had a great appetite. But fast digesting proteins like whey isolates, that's probably my number one on there.
Yeah.
If I'm honest, because post-workout I want something digesting very quick. Also, as a bodybuilder, I'm actually trying to keep my stomach in check. So I've got a small waist at the minute, and I want to keep it that way. But if I kept on pounding, 7 meals a day of just high, 300 grams of meat a meal.
Yeah, bubble gut.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's going to distend my stomach. So high quality protein shakes. I'm a fan of intra-workout. Essential amino acids are my favourite.
Yeah.
At the minute, I do intra-workout carbs, but at the minute, I'm not really doing them much because I'm just trying to see how it feels about.
Cool.
And to be honest, I do feel my energy towards the end of the session isn't as great, but I do feel less lethargic. When I'm training, so it's hit and miss. Creatine's obviously a great one.
Do you think potentially you're taking too many carbs?
No, because I played around with it. So I think, to be fair, I've been up to 75. I've dropped down to 50. I think
That's a lot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I
I know. Yeah, exactly. Well, it sits in your stomach.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how high molecular weight it is. Yeah, exactly. So I think the sweet spot for me, to be honest, I think I could get away with about 30.
Yeah.
I think that's the optimal.
And you know what? It made me feel a bit like, it reassures me that you've said that, because I'm speaking this from personal experience as well. Obviously I'm not the same size as Harry, but I'm 100 kilo. Like, I train relatively hard, and like I have competed before. 25 grams actually does the job for me.
It's more than enough. It's enough to shuttle nutrients.
Yeah,
nutrients.
because that's all I'm particularly wanting to use it for. Because if you're doing a good off season, or if you're trying to build muscle properly, you're taking in
100%.
carbs anyway. You've got glycogen anyway.
You can have amples of glycogen.
So why do you need more? You basically need those carbs for nutrient delivery.
100%. Yeah, and obviously.
Transport.
Yeah, and James knows more about that than anyone, especially when it comes to the supplement realm. But exactly what he said, especially in an off-season scenario, I've noticed I'm loaded up on glycogen where I eat so many carbohydrates anyway, and the workouts I'm doing are not like insane, like 5-hour high rep workouts. So I'm not going to deplete my glycogen stores that much. So honestly, I think 30 grams is more than enough.
Adequate, yeah.
And if I'm honest as well, the only time I notice a intra workouts actually working, as in the feel the difference, is when I'm deep into prep.
Yeah.
So I notice when I'm in prep, like in the off season, don't really notice that much if they're there or they're not. Whereas in prep, when I'm absolutely depleted 2 weeks out, and Chris has done random things like just pull my intra-workout carbs for one workout, I notice it. Because obviously I'm so depleted at that point anyway that anything makes a difference. So I notice I go into the workout, I'm as strong at the start, maybe the first 2 exercises, then it just tapers down. When I put them back in the next workout, I feel like more consistent.
That makes sense. And it makes me feel good about our products on the site as well, actually, because like Intracell 7 Black, Anabolic, products that Harry's used before, they're all around about 25 or 30.
Yeah.
And I used to take the opinion like, come on, I need like 50 grams.
No.
I need 60. And like, I think there was a phase where that was like a trend, another trend, where like you'd stack out your intra workout with a ton of stuff, but really, probably not needed.
And I don't think it's needed, no. And like I say, the basic foundations are always nutrition, but I think intra workouts are great to obviously just keep the muscle anabolic while you're training it, and not only that, it tastes great as well. So that's another great
and not
thing.
only that, but like the electrolytes, everything like
100%,
that. Hydration
compounds, yeah, exactly.
Increasing nitric oxide, all that sort of stuff. Some components, some ingredients in there, like Anabolic with the 4 grams of citrulline, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Good for stretching the muscle fascia.
Yeah, it's just a good recipe for training. Again, and I think the most important what's the word? The most important aspect of an intra-workout is digest easy.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing. There's no point having an intra-workout that bloats you out because it will affect your workout.
It's awful, yeah. And a lot of people don't realise like the science behind that, but essentially you're taking away, so let's say you're training chest, you want all that blood to go to your chest, but it'll be going to your stomach to digest the food.
Yeah.
Like, it's so counterproductive. So just bear that in mind as well, guys.
Yeah.
But so is it fair to say that that's a whey?
I'd say whey isolate, that's my favourite. Then followed by...
If you go top 5.
Top 5, okay, it's going to be tough. You so many. So top 5, I'd say whey isolate.
Yeah.
Then I'll go for essential amino acid.
Yeah.
Creatine.
Yeah.
A multivitamin.
Yeah.
And a greens product.
Yeah. Easy.
If you're on a budget, that's the best top 5 you can get. See, the greens product especially, I think, although they'll never replace real fruit and veg, they're the closest things you can get to it. Problem is, in the off season, I struggle to get a lot of veg down because I'm trying to get a lot of high calorie meals in, and obviously veg is very voluminous but doesn't really contain a lot of calories. So I'm guilty of skipping out on a bit of veg on certain meals just because it won't fit my stomach, and if it does, it distends it. Yeah. So I have greens minimum once, maybe twice a day, and that's got all the organic ingredients.
Yeah. So OptiGreens 50, guys.
OptiGreens 50, exactly that. OptiGreens 50. So again, like if I think a lot of people will benefit from that because I know a lot of people don't have enough veg, even if they are doing a bodybuilding diet, they haven't got enough veg in their diet as it is. So I think OptiGreens 50 is a great shout.
And to be fair, when you know how many calories you're on a day, like 5,000-6,000.
Jesus, man, yeah, it's got to be close to over 6 now.
Yeah. So like satiety is your enemy. You do not want to feel bloated on veg while you're trying to get in those calories because it's hard enough as it is.
Yeah, they're so voluminous, but they contain like hardly any calories. So that's great in a cutting phase if you're going pre-contest because you've got minimal food and you want to take a bit of room up in your stomach. Great off season, you're ploughing so many calories that you can't really, health wise you should put them in, but for the overall calorie surplus, it's very kind of hard to justify putting vegetables in there.
Yeah, unless you got like a bottomless pit for a stomach.
Yeah, and I think I've got that, and even I struggle with that.
Yeah, that's a lot of calories a day.
It is, it's just crazy amount.
Okay, so that's your top 5. Thank you very much for that, Harry, and a very succinct breakdown on how to build muscle. That's going to be it for us today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you want to follow Harry and his IFBB Pro journey, go follow all his social links and go follow the gym he trains at, Primitive Gym, for any updates in terms of his massage therapy, everything like that. He is local. He is just in Poole. So if you guys are local as well, you want to go pop down and see Harry, send him a direct message, sort out an appointment, and I'm sure he'll be more than willing to have a chat and
anytime, just drop me a message.
Great. Thanks very much for watching, guys. We'll see you on the next one.